Welcome back to the long-awaited return of the Road to the NBA series. My name is College Sports Revive, and today we take myself and three of my closest friends into the next gen. Welcome to the PlayStation 5, everybody. I'm excited to call this the Road to NBA 2K21 series for the first time, as we make the transition to our third 2K game of the series and to the fourth season of my NBA career, as all four have been played down here with the New Orleans Pelicans. This may be the first video you've ever seen on my channel, and with that in mind, I'll leave you a link in the description to a playlist of this My Career series. But if you choose to pick it up from this episode, that's perfectly cool as well. I'm just happy to have you, and I'll enlighten you on everything you've missed. This My Career series has been zeroed in on myself and three of my closest hometown friends, and our journeys through our basketball lives. We grew up together, meeting on the blacktop back in Brooklyn, New York when we were all kids, and from there it was all history. From high school to college to the NBA for all four of us. Let me fill you guys in with a recap of dozens and dozens of games, seasons, heartbreaks, triumphs, friends, enemies, all of the above. My name is John Fitzpatrick, and I'm beginning my fourth year of my NBA career in the upcoming weeks. It's crazy to think about how far we've come. Not just me, but my three other best friends as well. We started out from the same neighborhood, the same AAU teams, the same high school. And when we were 15, we were just four troublemaking kids with a dream. And at 25, we are now all in different parts of the country as key contributors on different NBA starting fives. Back in Brooklyn, we were the kids everybody looked up to, but nobody could beat on the blacktop. And when we all grew to be seniors in high school, me and my three friends had state championship aspirations. No other team in the Empire State had the teamwork, the charisma, the cohesion that we all did. But those dreams took a hit when one of my friends, Deshaun, moved to a different borough, and his family had to enroll him in Queens High School. This left me running the point, my friend Farhan at the 2, and my buddy Donovan at the power forward position. Farhan Nadeem, he's a combo guard, and he has the ability to play either the 1 or the 2, but shooting guard suits his strengths better. He was born in Pakistan and moved to the neighborhood when we were young, becoming the first Pakistan-born player ever in the NBA. He's lightning quick, plays sound physical defense, always keeping his hands active, and he's good with using either hand when driving and finishing. His three-point range is also extensive, perfectly fitting the mold of a modern NBA 2 guard. He's always loved to travel, so he selected Arizona as his school of choice and college as a 4-star prospect. He led the Pac-12 in steals and all Pac-12 freshmen in points and three-point percentage. Arizona fell in the Elite 8, but after this successful run, Farhan opted to the NBA draft after this campaign. He was drafted 14th by Miami to start his career and was runner-up Rookie of the Year, leading Miami in points per game as a rookie. The Heat struggled to begin his career, but continued to draft other guards such as Tyler Hero and Kendrick Nunn. Farhan wasn't happy about their direction in his third season of his NBA career, and he decided to ask for a trade and was dealt to the Lakers for Brandon Ingram. Wasting no time, Farhan and LeBron joined forces to win a championship. And despite being upset in the playoffs last year, the future looks bright in Lakerland. Donovan back in high school started at the power forward for us, and while he's a tad undersized for the 4 position, his energy and Hall of Fame work ethic more than makes up for it. Donnie nowadays is at 6'7", 245, incredibly strong with a gifted basketball IQ. On offense, he's always had a blend of physicality and finesse. He has the ability to put the ball on the floor and attack less athletically gifted big men, while still being able to knock down an NBA distance 3 whenever left unattended. His defensive prowess is what sets him apart from the rest of the bunch, however. He chose North Carolina State for his college of choice due to some family also attending, and he was a 4-star prospect. He wowed scouts with his rim protection as well. Not only is he a plus shot blocker, but he's also shown the ability to affect and change a lot of shots he can't block, keeping him out of foul trouble and giving him a unique skill. He led NC State to their best seed in the NCAA tournament since 2014. He was playing injured in the March Madness, however, and the Wolfpack were upset. But Donnie opted to enter the draft. He was selected in the lottery to the Trailblazers, creating a big 3 with CJ and Dame after he took home Rookie of the Year at 15 points, 10 rebounds, and a block shot a game. Portland hit their stride in his third season as they won the Western Conference, while Donnie took home his first DPOY trophy, but they were upset by the eventual champions, the Los Angeles Lakers. Donnie's had a memorable NBA career so far, but entering his 5th season with Portland, it might be time to change his scenery. In his 4th season, he had career lows across the board, and Portland made the playoffs by 1 game. Donnie's a loyal guy, so we'll see if he can make it work before his contract is up. Let's get back to high school though, as I was always the forgotten one in the group. When I started my senior year, I stood at 5'10", 145 pounds, and was only a one-star recruit, no D1 offers at that. But I used my basketball IQ and my floor general qualities to my advantage, having the breakout season I always dreamed of. I averaged 18 points and led the state with 8 assists per game, manning Brooklyn High School to a one-loss season, resulting in a state championship berth. There was a twist to this, however, though. Queens High School waited for us in the other locker room, which means Deshaun, a Duke Blue Devil commit, would be the last obstacle in our path for the state championship. Deshaun Christian is an athletic freak, an imposing 6'7" wing player who can jump out of the gym. He lives above the rim, and his arsenal of moves to get to the basket are unmatched. He also uses his unreal athleticism to his advantage on defense, and always seems to be one step ahead of the play when rotating over from the weak side to block shots. And while his mid-range can be hit or miss, his work beyond the arc is a sight to behold. He finished his college career shooting 44% from three-point land. Despite being an explosive slasher, Deshaun also displays good fundamentals working off the ball. With so many players needing the ball in their hands to make an impact nowadays, college scouts found this refreshing, and more importantly Coach K at Duke University, but we'll go back to Deshaun in a second. We came out victorious, overcoming Deshaun's 23 points, becoming state champions. And with this historic run, I became a 3-star recruit, ultimately deciding on the University of Texas. I worked my tail off to become a starter and eventually helped us to an Elite 8 berth as a freshman, where we fell short to top-seeded Kansas. After averaging 12 points and 6 assists in my freshman year leading the team in that category, Texas was greeted with program-changing news in the off-season. Deshaun Christian, my hometown buddy, was in the transfer portal after fighting through injuries and lacking playing time at Duke University. And he wanted to team up, and he joined me in Austin. We fought through an incredible amount of adversity, including my backcourt partner, former first-team All-Big 12 selection, Mitchell Drew, getting into a car wreck, cutting his basketball career short. But the good news was, hotshot freshman combo guard Aaron Catley, he stepped in for our fallen captain, and exceeded expectations. He blew the doors off of what we thought he was going to do. And we rallied behind Drew's tragedy and survived an upset bid on the second round to Miami en route to a Final Four appearance, putting down North Carolina. The top-seeded Michigan State Spartans came out victorious over Arizona on the other side and sported the #1 defense in the country. Behind my double-double and Deshaun's 28 points, we gave the University of Texas its first basketball championship, and as sophomores, Deshaun and I jumped to the pros, ending my second college campaign with 15.5 points, 10.5 assists which led the country, and 2 steals. Deshaun also pitched in 17 points and 5 rebounds as a projected lottery pick. At every level of basketball, I was always undermined, so I wasn't surprised to be taken in the second round to Dallas. But the good news was, the Mavericks used their first round selection on Deshaun, 8th overall. But at the end of the day, we all know the NBA is a business, and things didn't go quite smoothly like that, and I was moved on draft night to New Orleans. At this point, I was 6'1", 180 pounds, and even though my finishing, defense, and playmaking were NBA ready, my biggest weakness was always my jump shot from beyond 15 feet. I was a pass-first point guard all my life, but in order to make it to the league, I needed to become a more balanced offensive player. I approached my first year in the pros the same way I approached my first year in college. I dove on the floor for loose balls, pushed the starters in practice, and stayed after practice to work on my weaknesses. Eventually, I started over Elfrid Payton, and my per 36 stats were very good for a rookie. In the playoffs versus Portland versus Donovan for the first time since I shared the same court as him in high school, I tore my MCL, and we lost the series. I rehabbed, and it wouldn't be until year 3 we made it out of the first round, where we won the rematch versus the Blazers and Donnie G, and we put down Denver with Jamal Murray and knocked off Deshaun's Mavericks. Just like in college for the first time, I led a team to the first championship appearance ever in their respective history. We came up short against Philadelphia, but that leads me into my 4th year as a pro. And finally, we're looking to get over the mountaintop. Everybody from last year is still here. Aaron Catley, Marcos Luzada Silva, Anthony Davis, who has 2 years left on his deal with New Orleans. Everybody's still here, Richaun Holmes, all your favorite players. And I hope you guys are ready for another installment of the road to the NBA series on 2K21 Next Gen. Alright, year 4 is about to get underway, and somehow I managed to recap almost 50 episodes and 6 seasons of Road to NBA 2K basketball, but I had a fun time making that intro, and I hope you guys enjoyed watching it. And to start our 4th NBA season, we'll be traveling to play some basketball outside of the country as we head up to the 6th to take on the Toronto Raptors. Our schedule has some interesting matchups. As you may have noticed, Zion Williamson isn't on the Pelicans in this series, and that's because with Anthony Davis signing his extension with New Orleans, we never had a high enough pick to take the genetic monster, and he went to Charlotte with LaMelo Ball, and that's our home opener opponent. We also battled Deshaun's Mavericks, Wall and Harden in Houston, Steph and a healthy Klay Thompson, Denver who's looking for revenge on us after beating them in the conference semis last season, Durant and the Nets. It goes on and on, doesn't it? But before we kick off year 4, I want to take a second and show off some ratings, stats, and team projections for myself and my 3 friends. I went back to 2K19 and 20 to write down all of our stats and accolades so far in our careers. And starting off in Lakerland, Farhan Nadeem, the first Pakistan-born player in the NBA, he's the only player out of the 4 to host a championship trophy, which he won in his 3rd season, helping LeBron earn his 4th ring. He's been runner-up for Defensive Player of the Year and Rookie of the Year, both coincidentally lost to Donovan. But Farhan also beat Donnie in the conference finals in year 3 to win that ring, so I'd say it's even. Farhan had career highs in points, rebounds, and efficiency last season, and with LeBron being 35 yet still a 99 overall, the time is now for the Lakers to succeed and Farhan to add another trophy to his collection. Of course, you see LeBron has a 99, Farhan's a 90, and they also added Marc Gasol, and in this series they still have Rui Hachimura, who they actually drafted in the series, and Lonzo Ball is still with the Lakers and still developing, creating one of the most frustrating backcourt duos on defense for opposing point guards such as myself to deal with. It always seems like I struggle against the Lakers, which I'm hoping to improve this season, but luckily we've never had to face them in the playoffs yet, so at least we have that going for us, but that could always change. Deshaun Christian, my college teammate, he's had a lot of success with Dallas since being their first round draft choice 3 years ago. The physical freak has teamed up with Luka and Porzingis to create back-to-back conference finals in Dallas, losing to Los Angeles 2 years ago and falling short to us Pelicans last season. We had luck on our side too, as Seth Curry and Doncic were playing hurt, and it still took us 6 games to send them packing. Deshaun is the only hometown friend to average 20 plus points for a season, breaking into his first All-Star game and All-NBA second team selection last season. He also developed his playmaking, as maybe playing with me back in college for the Texas Longhorns may have rubbed off on him, making him a nightly triple-double threat at 6.5 rebounds and assists. Dallas might be the scariest team out of all 4 teams of anybody, with that big 3 of course, and they also added Josh Richardson, who just beat us Pelicans in the finals last year with Philadelphia. He inks with Dallas, and they also have a very deep bench, possibly the deepest team in the entire NBA. They can put up points in a hurry, and they have full of athletes on defense, making it hard to defeat them in the half court. And they also have Tyrese Maxey, a rookie from Kentucky who stepped in for the fallen Seth Curry and had a very productive playoff series against us last season. The Trailblazers have struggled to find an interior presence since LaMarcus Aldridge inked with San Antonio a few years ago, but Donovan was a top 10 pick 4 drafts ago and they nailed the selection. He fits perfectly with Portland, finishing top 5 in the NBA in rebounds 3 years straight and leading the league with 13 2 years ago. Donnie is also a decorated player, a Rookie of the Year, a 3-time All-Star, and that Defensive Player of the Year award winning 2 years ago. Not only was that 2019 season the best in Donnie's career, but Portland also finished as the number 1 seed in the West. They fell victim to Donovan's idol, LeBron James, however, and last season, after losing some depth and looking out of sync, Portland only made the playoffs by 1 game, losing the first round to us, and Donovan had career lows across the board. This left a bitter taste in his mouth, and Donnie, like the rest of us, has 2 years left on his Portland contract. It'll be interesting to see if he rides it out or asks to be traded. In that magical Portland season 2 years ago, Damian Lillard was actually the NBA MVP, but ever since then, at least last year, this Portland team did not look as good. They lost some depth. They did sign Carmelo Anthony. They now have Robert Covington to finally start somebody at the 3, and Enes Kanter joins the bench as well. Portland has never missed the playoffs in Donovan's career, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them in the top 4 teams of the Western Conference like we've seen them every single year this series, with the exception of last season. And lastly, we have myself, calling New Orleans my home for all 4 years of my NBA career. After nearly making the Pelicans' final roster after looking impressive in the Summer League, my rookie year was fairly decent for a second-round freshman. My per 36 stats were very solid, and I got the nod to start a few weeks before the playoffs. I made NBA second team all rookie, but I tore my MCL versus Portland in the elimination game, and we lost in the first round. And as a rehab assignment, I started year 2 in the G League. I still worked my tail off, however, and the starting job was still mine when I got the call back up, and I continued to impress in my second campaign. I was runner-up most improved, and broke into second team all defense, but once again Anthony Davis and we couldn't break out of the first round. Third time was the charm for not only myself but for the team as well. We traded the struggling Drew Holiday and moved up in the draft to take my college teammate Aaron Catley, and we finished second in the West, victorious in 50 games. I won most improved player, led the league in assists per game, and we made the finals, albeit losing in 6 games to Philadelphia. This leads us into year 4, where Anthony Davis is still in New Orleans with 2 years left on his deal, and I have 2 years on my contract still as well. Richaun Holmes is the backbone of this team as he averaged a double-double last season in his first year in New Orleans. Aaron Catley was a top 3 rookie in scoring, and Josh Hartman's the 3, as those two created a dynamic defensive duo on the wings last season. We still have Marcos Uzada Silva, a former Brazilian guard, who had a coming out party in the finals. Everyone's still here with the exception of Devin Dotson, our rookie backup point guard. He's replaced with Kyra Lewis, who have the same overall as him. And no more Nikola Mirotic, who now has Nicolo Melli stepping in for him. Mirotic led the bench in points per game in the playoffs last season, so we'll see if Melli packs the same punch. We also welcome Luguentz Dort, who's been spending most of his year in the G League for us, but he's starting to develop. So, that's it everybody. That's all the recapping and pre-game festivities. I think it's finally time we jump into next gen for the first time up here in the 6, facing off against Toronto Raptors as I'm facing off against Kyle Lowry. So a test for us for sure as we begin year 4. I'm super excited and I hope you guys are too. Getting off the team bus are your New Orleans Pelicans. There's the brow, ready for another solid season as he points to the cameras. And what in the world am I wearing? Oh, that is not a good look. Come on, only guys like Russell Westbrook could pull off a suit like that. But anyway, crossing over country lines, we begin year 4 as Anthony Davis is fresh off of his Defensive Player of the Year campaign last year. My most improved, 50 wins as a team, and Western Conference champions. We're trying to prove all the naysayers wrong that wasn't just a one-time thing for these Pelicans. We're here to compete for years. And it's going to be a tough test tonight. Toronto has still been competitive even without Kawhi Leonard, as the tip-off ensues and Aaron Baines wins it for Toronto, who is sporting the white jerseys with the red trims, and of course the Pelicans in those navy blue roads. New Orleans, we force a stop on our first possession, and on offense I have the isolation against Fred VanVleet. He stops me dead though. 5 seconds left to shoot. Catley pulls it from way downtown and he drills it. So the second-year pro, my former college teammate, he's the one who marks in the stat sheet for the first time, and he is no stranger to hitting shots with me on the floor. Flashback as Deshaun dishes over to Catley, who knocks this one down back in my college days. I kind of miss those days a little bit, but at the same time, I know I'm here for the better. So Anthony Davis with a tough matchup. He's going up against Pascal Siakam, and Siakam with a head full of steam. Anthony Davis sends his shot into the 5th row, but I was a little too late. Tried to draw the charge, but unfortunately he beat me to the spot. So 5-2 after Siakam blocks AD, logging him down after knocking down 2 free throws, forcing him into an air ball. 1 second left to shoot. I gotta force it up, and my first basket of the next gen. A little unconventional, but at the end of the day, I'll take it. Toronto still searching for their first field goal as Fred VanVleet runs the pick and pop with Aaron Baines. That one just rims out. Catley with the rebound as he turns on the Jets, past the timeline behind the back, lobbing it up to the unibrow. There's his first next-gen basket. And if you guys are no stranger to the series, you also know that we're no stranger to throwing lobs here in New Orleans. Toronto with back-to-back buckets, finally getting some traction on offense, and I overcommit on Kyle Lowry because of the off-ball screenplay, and now he whaps one to tie things back up at 9. So Lowry, the 6-time NBA All-Star, are going to be a tough matchup for me tonight as he also stops my drive, kicking this one out to Anthony Davis, who wants to ISO against Pascal Siakam, using his body to create some space, and he puts it in. So New Orleans back on top. Both teams hitting a bit of a rough patch here. We haven't scored in almost 3 minutes. I've chipped in 2 points and 2 assists, now running a parallel pick and roll between me and AD, and I thread the needle, putting that one perfectly to the cutting unibrow, and it's a timeout for Nick Nurse and the Raptors. This is definitely my first highlight reel level assist of the new year, as I'm coming off a year where I led the NBA in dimes a night. And with that, after the Raptors timeout, with 3 minutes left to go in the first quarter, I would hit the bench. But pretty interesting here, we all know the bench was pretty up and down last year, but only one basket for both sides combined, a 3 by Toronto, brings us with a first quarter score of 17-13 as we begin the second quarter. And now Anthony Davis with the ISO opportunity, that is on Matt Thomas with the mismatch. Now he has 8 points on the night. Unibrow looking pretty good here in the early goings. And on this play, I drive against Van Fleet, throw up a deceptive pump fake, but the rim is not very friendly to me that time, so I'm still sitting with only one field goal, and somehow I switch on to Siakam, and I see him charging at me, so I try to take the charge again, but once again, the ref thinks otherwise. He calls a block. I was outside the restricted zone, and I thought my feet were set, but I didn't get the call, and Josh Hart tries another 3. We've struggled from beyond the arc tonight, but Richaun Holmes, coming off a year where he put up a double-double daily. And on opening night, Holmes has controlled the interior on both sides of the floor as I force Van Fleet into a miss. Nice help defense from, you guessed it, Richaun Holmes. And on the other end, an in and out stop and go on Van Fleet, taking him to the cup, and I'm hit from behind. So a nice drive there. And I forgot to mention that blocking foul that Siakam just drew on me. That was actually my third personal foul of the first half. So I'm going to have to play very conservative, meticulous defense for these last few minutes of the first half. But stepping up to the line, I missed the first one. And it seems like New Orleans, we just cannot catch a break on offense tonight, as I've been shooting in the upper 80% for my entire career at the charity stripe. So gotta step up and hit the second one as I do. So we finally break into 20 points with the green light free throw, and I sit at 3 points and 3 assists. So now with 6 seconds left to shoot, we have a mismatch as Matt Thomas going up against the Unibrow once again, and he puts him on a poster. Alright, Anthony Davis, you could tell he was excited to start this season of basketball. He is looking very good here in the next gen. And on this possession, I force Van Fleet into another miss. I've been stifling him and Kyle Lowry so far tonight. And on the other end, driving past OG, and I get fouled by Siakam, narrowly missing the N1 opportunity. So, stepping up to the line once again, hopefully I can go perfect 2 of 2 this time. And after I make this first free throw, this will be another green light, so back-to-back green lights. Marcos Luzada checks in, one of the key bench players for us. There he is, number 7. As he actually had a very productive NBA Finals. He had a huge coming out party in the playoffs. He was an overseas stash player for a year. He actually is a real-life player. He's gone to battle, I think, with LaMelo Ball, if I remember correctly, overseas. And he is a fun player to watch. Just give him a chance, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy seeing him play for us. Your Pelicans currently on an 11-2 run. This is actually a pick play for Luzada Silva, who catches and fires. Not quite, but the rebound goes right to the Unibrow, who draws yet another foul on Siakam. And now he has 3 in the first half, just like me. So Anthony Davis back to the line so far with a productive first half. He's nearing a double-double, and he will miss this first free throw as I get checked out for the rest of the first half. And the bench, decent job holding. As you guys know, our bench squad was the weakest part of our team, and we're actually down 2 heading into the locker room to Toronto on opening night. This has definitely been far from the prettiest game of basketball you've ever seen, as both teams combined for 35% shooting in the first half, and outside of Aaron Catley's 3 to kick us off, we've been 0 of 8 from beyond the arc since, so we have to continue to work it inside like we did at the end of the first half, and then those perimeter shots will open up, I bet. The bench also has to do their part, as they only have 8 combined points from our second unit. But what's keeping us in the game, however, is our ability to control the interior. We got 17 blocks, and 4 of those have been from Richaun Holmes, and Toronto only has 10 points in the paint. Kyle Lowry and Anthony Davis have 11 points for both teams, as they're the respective teams' leading scorers. So let's begin the second half of action and see if we can sneak out a grit and grind game against Toronto. To begin the second half on offense, Aaron Catley had a layup swatted into the crowd, leading to a baseline inbound as Hart and Catley combined it for 2 of 9 shooting in the first half. As I take this one on Lowry, double pump, and the ball leaks in. Alright, so a friendly roll to kick us off as we tie it back up at 43 apiece. Van Fleet has struggled today as he fires from the top of the key, misfires though once again. As AD pulls it in, nice outlet pass from Josh Hart working as a team, moving up the floor. Lowry with good defense, so I try to dish it off, but AD does not have the positioning, so I continue to move without the ball. I shot 29% from 3 last season, but I begin my 4th campaign 1 of 1. You guys know my outside shooting has always been inconsistent. but I'm putting my best foot forward here tonight so far. And now I have Matt Thomas on the baseline, so I want to take him. I got his shoulders turned, so I attack the top foot with the finger roll finish over Pascal Siakam. That was sweet. As we extend the lead to 7, our largest of the night so far. Now up by 4. Toronto with a 3, trims the lead. Caitley receives a screen from AD, and if you guys know anything about us, everybody likes to share the ball. Now Aaron Caitley throwing a lob. We've seen Josh Hart throw some really nice dimes, Caitley lob up AD just as much as I do, and that's why this team is so fun to watch for every fan. And now Holmes sends back Van Fleet with his 5th block of the game. I find the fading Hart, who's off the mark, but Holmes cleans up the mess, and 1 for the big fella. As with Sean Holmes, like I said earlier on in the video, he's been completely above expectations since we signed him a year ago. Career highs in points and rebounds and blocks for him last season. I hit the bench for a little bit, check back in, still up 7, sharing the floor with 4 other bench players, as it's a pick play to begin this possession as Okafor sets the high pick, rolls to the rim, and there's a lob to my ex-roommate Jahlil Okafor. And if you guys are an OG to the series, you remember whenever I was a first-year pro on that second round rookie salary, I couldn't afford a place by myself, but Okafor, I shared his house with him until I could afford a place on my own. But the 3 starting guards, Caitley, Hart, and I, plus Nicolo Melli, who is a tough matchup for Pascal Siakam, who scores there. But subsequently, Anthony Davis would check in, giving me a screen on this possession, rolling, and this time he would jam it down again. This one on Kyle Lowry, who's also in foul trouble now, extending the lead to 5 as we continue to do a good job keeping Toronto off our backs. Now only up by 4 with 7.5 left to play. Holmes with the 2-man game between him and I as I float this one in over Aaron Baines as I continue to shoot a sky-high percentage from the floor tonight. And this New Orleans defense, we were actually top 3 in least points allowed and most turnovers forced on defense, but we haven't seen a lot of turnovers forced for us tonight so far. But as I say that, Josh Hart, he picks the pocket of Matt Thomas, and this ball swings inside to Richaun Holmes with another delicious dime for myself, as Holmes earns another and 1, plus the free throw, so that's assist number 7 for me tonight. Now back on the attack, up by 9. Hopefully we're starting to pull away a little bit as AD rolls again, and this one he puts a little flavor on it. These Pelicans are currently enjoying an 18-7 run right now. New Orleans on offense with their first double-digit lead of the night, as a nice screen from Anthony Davis frees me up for a green light jumper from the baseline. Kyle Lowry was dropped by the brow, and with 18 points now, I surpassed my point per game total from a year ago as Van Fleet is sent back once again. A nice pass from Anthony Davis, as that's an easy take on top of Kyle Lowry. Another team assist, as we were top 5 in that category a year ago in the NBA as a team. Now up by 20 all of a sudden. I got Aaron Baines on me. Ooh, and I want to take advantage. I swear I'm not a ball hog. I swear. I just wanted to see if I could break some ankles here in the next gen debut. Oh, I got him again. They switched the matchup though. 4 seconds left. Pump fake. Kobe spin. Got it again. Alright. So 22 points for number 20 here in the next gen debut, resulting in a 20-point victory for New Orleans after outscoring Toronto 32-16, doubling their total here in the 4th quarter. That leads us to an emphatic win on opening night, 1-0 to begin next gen. Overall, it was just a great team win tonight. I mean, everybody stepped up out of the locker room. Like, we did a heck of a job improving on our miscues in the first half. We only took 2 threes as a team in the second half because we were struggling, and we also shot 66% from the floor in the second half. Meanwhile, our perimeter defense was stout. Toronto was only 3 of 14 from three-point line in the final 20 minutes after killing us from beyond the arc in the first half. AD finishes with 30 and 15 with 3 blocks. He's up to snuff. 22, 8, and 1 block. Surprisingly, no steals for me on the night. But I only missed 3 shots and kept my turnovers down. A very efficient night for me. A double-double from Richaun Holmes plus his 5 blocks. And the bench really stepped up in the second half as well. 11 points off the bench from Okafor in 11 minutes. Lowry and Boucher both had 15, combining for 30. Van Fleet had 14 points, but it took him 16 shots to get that total. And why didn't Terrence Davis play? Anyway, stay tuned for next time, as we're going to have the home opener to Season 4 against LaMelo Ball and Zion Williamson and the Hornets. And I'm going to have a lot of episodes coming up soon. Very excited to start next gen basketball with you guys, so stay tuned and Happy New Year.